There's a new face in the England squad in Callum Wilson, though. A deserved call-up?
Oh, hugely deserved. Big fan of him. I think he's done tremendously well to reach this level in terms of, you know, his goals and his assists are up there with the best players in the Premier League at the moment. That's the level I'm talking about. He's had bad injuries as well, that he's showed great character to come back. What I like about him is his variation. So, you know, you need a striker to finish, which he's doing. You need somebody who can hold the ball up, which he does ever so well by, which is a dying art in there, I think. And he loves running behind. He doesn't stop making runs. And as a midfielder, not when I played, someone who runs behind and can hold it up. There's not many of those. Yeah. And although Harry Kane is the #1, and rightly so, it's great that someone like Wilson is now saying, you know what, I'll keep scoring, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll be there when and if I'm needed. Yeah. And he deserves that call-up as much as anybody, really does. Yeah. Look at his stats, tremendous.
Yeah, I think he would have been called up earlier if it wasn't for some real unfortunate injuries at the wrong time, and that shows his character and his resilience, because he's come back from possibly the worst injury, a cruciate ligament injury. So I'm absolutely delighted for him. It's a great story for him, and it's a great story for Bournemouth and Eddie Howe as well. Done an incredible job there, 6th in the league, and he's been at the forefront of that. And again, credit to Gareth Southgate for casting the net wider. I think for too long, in terms of our national team selection, we've looked at the top 4, top 5. I think there are outstanding players beneath that, playing at a very high level, at Premier League level, that need to be exposed to that level to show their quality. And Gareth's doing that. You see Ben Chilwell, his last performance against Spain, absolutely top class performance at left back. You don't know until you put them in. And Gareth's doing that at the moment, and all credit to him.
How will Callum Wilson, should he play, how will he fit into the England setup? I
think he fits in. As Danny said, he's got power, he's got pace, he runs behind. And if you look at the strengths as a team, you know, you've got Harry Kane, who's an absolutely top centre-forward, but you need someone who can fit in. You look at Rashford and Sterling, their pace in transition on the counter-attack. Callum can do that. Callum's got the power and the pace, and it's all right having power and pace, but he's clever and intelligent enough to make runs in behind at the right time. His timing's fantastic. You look at his goal involvement there, look at the 3 names above him.
That's a brilliant stat.
It's every reason why he should be in England squad, and he should be proud of that, but he should want to do more, because he's more than good enough to not only get in the England squad, but stay there.
What's helped him as well, and this is where Eddie Howe does deserve credit, is that sometimes when you're playing for a lesser club, jumping to England, you play a different way than a lot of the lesser clubs. So a lot of lesser clubs in years gone by would play a bit more direct and a bit more predictable football, and England would be trying to play with a better technical player that you know, that's in the squad. Because of the way Bournemouth play, it's not going to be, the transition isn't going to be that great. You're still going to get people looking to play little balls into him, play off him, then spin. You know, it's not just because he's a big lad and he's strong. He's not just that. You know, in years gone by, sometimes, you know, if Kevin Davies was a good example, who year in, year out was brilliant in the Premier League for Bolton, but never got the chance because I think England never played that way. And I understood it. But Bournemouth do play good football. Yeah. So it's not like he's going to go there and feel alienated.
No, not at all.
No, I think it's long overdue, and I just hope he gets an opportunity, because I think if he does, he'll grasp it.
Do you think he will play?
I think he'll play.
Why not? I think he'll get a chance. What's the point of putting people in to see them? You want to give them the opportunity to show what they can do on the field of play. And Callum's deserved it. It's not like he's being called up because of injuries, or his form's been outstanding. He's one of the top strikers in the Premier League. And what a better time to do it when he's on top form, to see if he can link up and connect with players like Sterling, Rashford, the midfield players, Ali, Ross Barkley. He's a perfect centre-forward for that. If Harry Kane, touch wood, doesn't get injured, but you've got someone there who can come in. And that's someone that I think, that's an area in England's squad where I think we can get better at as well.
And that's what you were saying, Danny, is that players who play in the final third, when you look at the statistics on his goal involvement, on assists and on goals themselves, that's pretty much all you can judge them on, isn't it?
I'm a bit obsessed with stats in the final third, because ultimately, if you're a creative player, what are you creating? You know, it's chances, goals, but he's doing both. And that's what I'm talking about, is variation in play. So I've played with strikers where, I don't know, someone like Darren Bent, unbelievable finisher. Great to play with, always running behind, always on the shoulder, but his link-up wasn't great. Jordan Rhodes, another one, you know, a goal scorer in the box. Even Michael, to a degree. Michael was probably the best, Michael Owen, sorry, the best out of 3 in terms of all-round game, but not brilliant at both. He can come and hold up and fight with anybody, Callum Wilson. But when he runs behind, he's quick and he's direct and he's finishing. And I think it's no coincidence that Josh King, the young lad Brooks, they're looking like much better players every time they play with him. And yeah, it is. Yeah. And actually, for England, in terms of options, we're talking about playing either him or Kane. I mean, there are times where Gareth might want to go on, 2 of them. Playing against those 2 would be a handful. I wouldn't want to do it anyway.
When you talk about players who are given that opportunity to show that they can move up to international level, it brings us very nicely to Lewis Dunk.
Yeah.
What kind of England future do you think he has ahead of him?
I think he's got a huge future. Look, obviously, Lewis is someone I played with for a long time, and I remember seeing him, before I even played with him, he was 18 years old playing a championship for Brighton, and he's got everything. He's got absolutely everything, and I was really confident that once he got into Gareth's squad, he wouldn't come out. Because at Brighton, we don't have as much possession as your Manchester Cities or your Chelseas, and he shows his defensive qualities. But Lewis has got more than that. In possession, he's an absolutely outstanding player. He can come out with the ball, he can hit fantastic diagonals, and I really hope he gets a chance to set foot on the pitch in an England shirt, because I know how much it meant to him. We speak about the modern-day footballer, do they care? This lad cares about playing for England. It's been his dream. So to see him, I saw him today walking out the office this morning, and I think he got told because he was floating off the floor too much. And I was absolutely delighted for him, I could just tell. So I hope he gets a chance, because I think he could go on to be not just one of the best players in the Premier League. I think, given time, I think he could make that England spot.
Would he suit a 3 more than the 4? Because
he could play in a 3, he could play in a 4.
Has he got the pace? Because, you know, with the England centre-halves, I think Gareth went to a 3, because if you look at Maguire, Stones is probably quicker, obviously, but, you know, the 3 allows
more margin for error.
Yeah, and I know at Brighton, they've mixed it up, but generally play a 4, don't they?
Yeah.
And at times, you can get isolated in a 4 with your pace if you're not the quickest.
Yeah.
So would the 3 suit him?
I think he could play in a 3, he could play in a 4. I played with Harry Maguire, outstanding, another one, and they're in a similar mould. They're both very, very comfortable on the ball. And Lewis is someone who actually will surprise you at how comfortable on the ball he is. But again, it goes back to exposing players to the level. Yeah. You don't know until you put them in.
True.
So hopefully he gets to show that. And I hope I don't give him the big talk up and put loads of pressure on him. But I think if you speak to players...
that ship's sailed now, Liam.
No, exactly. But Bobby Zamora said the other day he thinks he could go on to be one of the best centre-halves in the Premier League. You know, these are players that have played with him who see him day in, day out. And I think Lewis, he could do absolutely anything he wants in his career. He's that good.
A big compliment.
Yeah, he's sort of inextricably linked as well, though, with Shane Duffy at Brighton, to the point where people think there's a 3rd player, Duncan Duffy.
They are. They're like they're joined at the hip at the training ground as well. You can't get them away from each other.
They've got their contract extensions on the same day.
But actually, Kel, you make a great point, because that partnerships at centre-half, you know, over the years, we talk about Bruce and Pallister, Vidic and Ferdinand and Carragher and Hippier, things like that, you know, Adams Bold, all the partnerships. And actually, a centre-half challenge a lot of the time is when you move away from that regular partner, can you adapt?
Yeah.
You know, I remember Maguire actually went into the England squad and became a regular really quickly, didn't he? Because he adapted to the surroundings, and that's what we have to wait and see with Dunk.
Exactly, but Harry does, because Harry Maguire's so comfortable on the ball. I play with Harry at Hull, and he's so comfortable on the ball. And obviously, the higher up you go, it seems like you've got more time, but you get punished a lot sooner if you give the ball away. So, and for me, Lewis isn't exactly the same ilk as Harry.